toyresource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
Planet of the Apes, a collecting guide for action figure resource. This movie series kicked off with 5 films, 3 of them legitimately great, namely Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes, which ran from 1968 to 1973. Now, this pre-Star Wars era was when the series was at its apex in terms of capturing the sci-fi interest of the day. Its 2 subsequent periods of life being at a time when the abundance of choice has fragmented their potential mass interest. In other words, there's so much other stuff out there now, it's hard to get the kids' attention. Fox licensed around 60 companies to make around 300 ape-related products, which included comics, model kits, colouring books, book and record sets, costumes and clothing, lunchboxes, and of course, action figures and playsets, which is what we will be chiefly concerning ourselves with here today. The first and most significant figures were produced by Mego. These were also the first ever direct movie tie-in action figures, and they set an early benchmark for what would eventually become the industry norm from the late 70s onward. Now, the kicker of this is that due to development time and the fact that they were breaking new ground, Mego didn't start this line until 73, the same year as the final of these first 5 movies, Battle of the Planet of the Apes. Fortunately, the TV series, which aired from September to December of 74, simply called Planet of the Apes, gave the line a shot in the arm and further made clear the link between currently screening entertainment and the success of the merchandising lines. The animated series, which hit screens between September and December of 75, again kept the apes very much in the hearts and minds of children. The Mego line included astronauts Burke and Veerden from the live-action TV show, along with Cornelius from the films and Galen from TV, both played by talented simian-embodying expert and series mainstay Roddy McDowall. The courageous and outspoken chimp scientist Zira, another favourite, also made an appearance here. Now, all good protagonist toys need a good collection of antagonist figures to clash with, although most kids would probably just have labelled them baddies. The Mego apes boasted a nondescript gorilla soldier, the irascible Dr. Zaius, and generals Urko and Ursus. There was also an astronaut, but curiously no Charlton Heston Bright Eyes Taylor was made, at least not until much later. What made these figures all the more desirable and gave them more life for the kids was the play sets. These of course give context and identity to play and make for easier narratives. It may sound obvious, but this is often overlooked even today. It certainly helped Star Wars a few years later. There was the Forbidden Zone trap, battering ram, jail, Dr. Zaius' throne, a catapult, the village, the treehouse, the fortress, and Action Stallion. This rich series of props and dioramas lent the figure line a sense of scope and ongoing adventure, and of course encouraged the purchase of more figures to go with them. This 8-inch line lasted until 1975, in line with the TV shows, and then Mego moved on to new licenses, although not without producing a speculative line of Bendhams in 74. The Apes license lay dormant for many years while Hollywood tried to figure out what to do with it on the big screen. It wasn't until Tim Burton's 2001 reimagining bodily pushed it out of development purgatory that a new generation got to experience new toys to tie in with a film. This time, Hasbro, having already long secured the Star Wars license, ensured they were on point for this Fox revival. Their figures were big and chunky and colourful and based on the new movie. We even got that most coveted of treasures, a small plastic Mark Wahlberg as astronaut Leo. This line lasted a couple of waves and then ended thanks to the public reaction to the movie being rather poor. In 2002, Diamond Select, in collaboration with Japanese manufacturer Medicom, produced 18 figures based on the original classic apes, including the first ever Taylor, which was approved by Charlton Heston. These figures were posable and rather detailed, pleasing fans who could get hold of them. There was also a line of wind-up figures only released in Japan. Hot Toys also produced several high-end 6th scale classic Apes figures aimed at the discerning adult collector. These are by far and away the most expensive of Apes toys to pick up on the secondary market, even when held against mint-boxed original Megos. You will find that along all of these lines are occasional mint rare examples prized by fans of the original films, especially imports. No one line has absolute collector dominance. Having said that, unboxed loose examples of the Burton version are at the very bottom of the pile, so might make for an inexpensive entry point if you want to start acquiring all things ape. In 2014, the National Entertainment Collectibles Association, NECA, began production of a new line of figures based on the rebooted film series starring Andy Serkis as Caesar, as well as the classic apes once again. Rise and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes are, as you probably already know, of supreme quality, and the fact that these films can emerge so long after the original speaks of the longevity of the series and its accompanying merchandise. It is likely that it will be rebooted again and again, each time drawing in new generations and inspiring new action figures. The original book and film adaptation was a social allegory, with the apes representing exaggerated versions of our primal and civilized sides. These themes remain very much applicable as the years go by. We hope you've enjoyed this guide. If you'd like to know more about Mego, Hasbro, or NECA, we've done fascinating history videos of all three companies. And come along to the Action Figure Resource website for dozens of collector guide videos and more toy info than you can shake the hand of a damned dirty ape at.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.